Why? Easy. Yeah. Yeah, know what I holler? Do you know what I holler? Do you know what I holler? Yeah. You know the itty bitty city by the water. That's steady getting tall.
Happy Bi Visibility Day, everybody. This is the White Bronco Show, and we have special guest, comedian Rachel Knight. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
And thank you for telling me that today was Bi Visibility Day?
I think that's what it's called officially.
Okay, I want to definitely talk comedy with you, but let's talk bisexuality first.
Absolutely.
Tell me about, okay, so this day, are there any celebrities backing it, or?
Well, not that I'm aware of. I mostly just saw other friends in the LGBT plus community on Facebook posting about the day.
Okay. So it's a social media thing.
I mean, that's how I was introduced to it. I just found out that this was a holiday. You'd think I'd have heard before.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess I knew that they were doing something in San Francisco.
It was first observed in 1999.
99. And how long have you been bisexual?
Well, I came out when I was 15.
What year was that?
Oh, God. Well, I'm 26 now.
Oh, okay.
But I had some idea when I was about 10 that I was either a lesbian or bisexual. And actually, my parents totally thought I was a lesbian way before I even started thinking about it. They sat me down. They said, Rachel, you're really into gay rights and such. We just want you to know that if you're a lesbian, there's nothing wrong with it. We'll love you the same.
Were you just into gay rights because New Hampshire was a pretty liberal place and gay marriage was legal there?
Well, this was when I was pretty young. Like, they sat me down when I was about 9, so I hadn't even thought about my sexual preference yet. But absolutely, I grew up in a usually blue state. Right now, New Hampshire is starting to worry me with their support of Trump and whatnot. But yeah, absolutely.
There's crazies everywhere.
Yeah. My parents always raised me to be tolerant. And the first wedding I went to when I was about 6 was a lesbian wedding, one of my dad's colleagues. And no one explained to me the fact that it wasn't legal yet. But New Hampshire was one of the first, and I grew up really close to Massachusetts, which was the first.
Interesting. You told me there's a couple. I think you posted there's some famous celebrities who are bisexual.
Absolutely. There's Alice Walker, Oscar Wilde, James Dean, Freddie Mercury, Marlon Brando. They didn't all put the label on it, but they all were attracted to both men and women. We'll
get back to Brando, but tell me, you used to do a radio show, and it had to do with Oscar Wilde?
Well, it was named after a quotation from Oscar Wilde. A lot of my screen names and websites are named after things he said, to the point where now my websites sometimes come up higher. I feel a little bad about that. But I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. But I called it Christ or Faust, and I later realized that how I was pronouncing it wasn't the right way. But now I don't.
How old were you when you were doing that?
I was 19.
19? And how long did it last for?
For the school year, I guess, because I ended up transferring schools, and it was through a college that I was attending, but it was also broadcast in town on the radio. This
show is also predicted to last about a school year before someone shuts us down.
Yeah.
We're losing sponsors left and right, but we're bringing on guests who have experience like you who could maybe help us. But okay, let's stick to your bisexuality. You told me that you wouldn't mind talking about a fun story you had in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, I think I know.
With a couple guys on base.
Oh, 3 guys.
So how did this even begin?
Okay, so, a lot of people ask you if you've had a threesome when you're bisexual, but really it can be irrelevant because my only time having group sex was 3 guys and me. And it was in the Schofield Army Barracks on Oahu. There's certainly always a lot of slutty military guys around willing to sleep with you, so it was pretty fun year.
How'd they sneak you into the barracks?
You don't really need to be snuck into the barracks. For example, I had a boyfriend on Pearl Harbor for a while I was there. Someone just needs to come get you.
Oh, really? So women are allowed in?
Absolutely. I mean, there are women in the military.
Oh, right. But I mean, like in a men's quarters, these guys are all like 8. How old were you?
I was, I believe, 20.
And how did you meet these guys?
Right. I think it was through Craigslist because if you go into the personals, it's not just men for women, etc. You can do like MM for W, MMM for W. It's actually quite incredible.
Use moped for sale, bro.
Yeah, because it is Oahu. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of mopeds and sex on Craigslist.
That's what it was.
Well, I think it's a small place, and I know that Monster and Career Builder, they don't have any business or any people in Hawaii because all jobs in Hawaii go through Craigslist. So I figure all sexual stuff might as well. It's a strong it's strong there.
Yeah, and there was OkCupid at the time, but I found out right away that the more attractive people were on Craigslist.
So how old were these guys, and where do you think they're from? Do you remember?
Honestly, I don't remember. We didn't get to know each other. I wasn't there looking for a relationship or anything.
So you showed up. One guy met you at the gate. He brought you back.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys were there just jacking their fucking...
Well, actually, we sat down with some of their friends for a while and just watched TV and hung out.
What'd you guys watch?
I don't remember. I was really excited for what was about to transpire.
So you weren't even paying attention?
I think that I was actually having a beer, and I went to a dry campus and was not 21, so I was pretty excited to get a chance to drink for once.
Not excited that you're about to bang 3 guys.
I was super excited.
Did you think
about
it was
both.
going to be 3 guys at once? It was.
Yeah.
It was a done deal, set in stone on Craigslist.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They called you.
Well, I think we exchanged pictures probably and just
And then-
talked a little about what we were into
Oh, nice.
sexually. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so they knew what they were getting themselves into,
Mm-hmm.
and then they said, "Okay, let's go in the room."
Yeah, we went back to their room, which I believe didn't have a door. So there was a period of time.
Does it look like the army barracks you've seen in the movies with like the bunk beds?
Some do, some Marines and Army ones in particular, but Air Force, the one that I was in, I only fucked one guy in the Air Force, but they're really nice. It's like a hotel room sometimes. I'm sure it varies.
Yeah, I mean, fuck those Top Gun guys. Put them up.
That's the Navy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did predominantly sleep with Navy by far. Some stereotypes are true.
Really?
That Navy guys are very promiscuous.
What about Navy girls? Do you sleep with any of them?
No, I only ever saw one on Pearl Harbor the whole time I was there.
Have you slept with any women in the military?
Oh, I've done some things with women in the military,
Good.
Veterans.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, veterans.
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
What do you mean done something?
Well, we were actually talking about this outside. There are many different degrees of lesbian sex, and everyone has a different idea of what it means.
I think most guys just assume that it means strap it on and go get down like a guy and a girl. So obviously there are other ways to gratify a woman, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, I personally think of lesbian sex as oral sex, just for my purposes.
Okay.
And
I don't think I've ever heard that.
that oral sex was the main form of lesbian sex.
Yeah, and I've watched. I mean, I'm only referencing everything.
But
I've
who
heard
makes-
on HBO's Real Sex?
And
but-
who makes lesbian porn? Guys do.
Yeah, exactly.
So we
Yeah,
make
sure.
it in the way we think we would want to see it.
But
yeah,
I don't think any guys watch lesbian porn.
I watch
Oh, there's-
lesbian porn.
There's a lot of
Have you ever seen Les Kiss?
I don't remember.
Les Kiss is some shit. Yeah. Okay. All right. I do watch lesbian porn. Damn it. I'm not hiding it. All right. Sorry. Let's get back to it. So there's different degrees.
Mm-hmm.
You're bisexual.
Yeah.
Maybe you fuck a guy, and then the next day you're like, wow, that guy fucked me good. Do you feel like I'm gonna go fuck this girl?
If I understand what you're asking, no, actually not at all. It's not a manner. It's not a thing where I need both. It's just where gender is irrelevant in who I choose in a partner. And that's usually what bisexual means. Most people don't have a boyfriend and girlfriend at the same time.
Okay. Do you have a lot of jokes that you do about being bisexual in your comedy?
I have some.
That's good. I mean, you're gonna be like, because like you said, Marlon Brando. What have people said that like classifies him as bisexual?
He was pretty open himself. I don't think he ever used the word bisexual, but he was very open about the fact that he had homosexual relationships, like as a young man. And he said,
as a young man.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. He said, well, I think he got married a few times, right? So he didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of opportunities to go around fucking guys. Well, that's not true. He probably was a philanderer. I feel like most old movie stars were, but he's my favorite actor.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to think of like a movie reference I can make of like, you know, where someone was like sucking his dick, but maybe Martin Sheen in The Jungle. I don't know. I love Martin Sheen too much to even try to make a joke about it. But that's good to hear because you know you need people, you need influential people to reference, you know, to keep the conversation going. And where can people find information about, like, you know, when you're younger you don't know, about being bisexual? Like, where do you read? You read most of your stuff on social media. Like, that's how you found out today.
Mm-hmm.
It was Bi Visual Day.
It's, I believe, well, you're looking it up.
Celebrate Bisexuality
no.
Day.
I think it's Bi Visibility Day.
Okay.
And I actually love that term. I don't like the word bi, but I think that most people are fine with it. It's like saying homosexual, where it's something kind of rude to say to someone's face. But then again, there's the word lesbian, which is totally fine as a noun. But yeah, there's a lot of bi erasure where people remember these celebrities as being gay, like Freddie Mercury, or straight. But in reality,
I think what the question is, would you have sex with Freddie Mercury? Because I definitely
I would absolutely have sex with Freddie Mercury. Oh yeah, so bi visibility is just the opposite of bi erasure.
Oh, okay. How?
By recognizing that people can be bisexual even when they're in monogamous relationships.
I have a question, because this is something that I've always pondered, and something that I've lived my life by, because I feel like I was born straight, born heterosexual, because there's no way in hell I'm ever getting anywhere near a dick, and I know that, and I have this strong feeling that the urges that push me away from a dick. So I feel like if somebody can get over that, then they were born a different way than I was, because it's not about nature or nurture. This is nurture rather. This is nature for me and my personal feelings. So where do you stand on heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, nature versus nurture?
Well, I absolutely agree with you that people are born the way they are. And I think for the nurture argument, if you're raised in a more tolerant household, you're just more likely to come out as gay, but not to be gay.
Right.
So you're saying, a tolerant home, or even a home raised by a same-sex parents, or even multiple parents, doesn't necessarily or should not influence your sexuality, just whether or not you tell people about it. Is that a fair statement from what you said?
Yeah, I would say so.
What about when you're looking at porn and there's just a hot, wet asshole, and you're just like, that's just a hot asshole, man or woman. I'm looking at a piece of meat. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just like a physical thing, right?
For me, it's actually funny. I very much prefer either very feminine women or very masculine men.
Wow. Like wrestlers?
Well, maybe that's a little too masculine. I just mean, I don't usually get attracted primarily to androgynous people, whereas one of my friends who's bisexual, absolutely, that's her type. It's the opposite to mine.
What?
So you don't date hipsters or things like bland Abercrombie looking?
It's all about the person. It really is. I can overlook things as long as they're respectful. I can absolutely just overlook.
Have you ever slept with an individual that your like friends are just like, wow, that's pretty low? Or are you like pulling in like good looking people? Like you're banging, you know?
I would say almost all of the people I've had sex with are conventionally attractive.
All right.
To the point of being like, there are a couple that just look like Abercrombie models. Like,
there you go. Well, I mean, you're in LA. You've lived in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
How many, if you don't mind me asking, how many hookups do you think you had on Craigslist in Hawaii? If you don't mind.
Well, that's a great question.
And are there any other like good stories from that where like some bro rolled up on his moped in his flip flops and he forgot the condoms? I don't know. I don't even know. How did it go down? Or how many times do you think you met guys off Craigslist?
Probably
or girls?
20 times.
20 times?
Yeah.
And then were you and like your friends in college doing the same?
Not as much as I was.
Not as much as you were?
This was Catholic school.
Oh, it was a Catholic school in Hawaii?
Mm-hmm. Chaminade.
Chaminade. Wow. Did you how many religious classes did you have to take a semester?
I didn't have to take any religious classes. It was just owned by the Marianist French monks.
Did you guys have to wear like Catholic girl, schoolgirl outfits, or?
I think that's more for high schoolers, but we shared a campus with an all-boys Catholic school who all wore the same Hawaiian shirt.
What?
I know, right?
Hawaiian guys wearing Hawaiian shirts?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
That's part of a uniform.
Okay. All right. Did you have any scary stories from Craigslist where you just like saw the guy and you're just like, I gotta fucking go, and you just dipped?
Well,
or you'd view their pictures and be like, sorry, bud.
You would get like 200, 300 emails within
A lot of
a couple
dick pics?
hours. Oh, absolutely.
Did you save any?
No, unsolicited dick pics are such a turnoff.
Really?
If I really want to see your dick, I'll ask for a picture of it, but that's not something that I feel turns most women on. We're more about the big picture, not individual parts.
Oh, Jesus.
And also, I think most girls don't want to see someone naked unless they warn you beforehand, just over your phone.
I feel like what kind of porn more you like? Group sex? Do you like women on women? Do you ever watch two dudes?
Not usually, except when I'm out at gay clubs that show porn on the walls, which we talked about a little bit. There's this one fault line with a lot of neon signage of penises.
Wait, a fault line?
At Fault Line, yeah, it's a gay club near my house.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, for porn,
What?
occasion-
Did you have fun in there? Did you go with your gay?
no,
male friends?
not really. It's kind of I don't know if they're saying cruisy or cruising, but it's the gay equivalent of a hookup bar. And it's a daddy bar, too. A lot of definitely
Whoa, what's a
fat,
daddy bar?
older men. A daddy bar, I mean, I'm not a gay male. Most LGBT plus nightlife in LA is geared totally towards gay males. But I think that it's just an older man, people who are sexually attracted to older men.
it's
Maybe for money, maybe not.
It's a gay hookup bar that's playing porn on the walls with a bunch of daddies strolling around with cocktails with neon Ds lit up everywhere.
Absolutely. And there's a couch. And, from the angle I was at when we were smoking, I said, you want to go sit on that couch? And he says, okay. And then we turned the corner and there are a couple guys there.
Just blowing each other?
Not quite, but on their way. You asked me about porn preferences?
Yeah.
Well, there are occasions where I will specifically
Just kinda depends what mood
want
you're in.
lesbian porn because
Right.
I can easily find a guy in real life. I think straight guys know how hard it is to pick up girls, and it's even harder when there's such a small selection because there are less lesbians than straight women walking around. But generally, it's not about the gender. I just go into either the category group sex or amateur.
Group sex or amateur? Those are your categories.
Yeah.
Go to Brazilian group sex, okay? Because that's where it's at.
I was telling you about the Brazilian Smurfs porn, and actually the blue paint started to rub off as they would fuck each other. It was one of the worst porns I've ever seen.
Let me ask you a question. You're very honest on social media, but I don't think I've ever got your opinion. Would you have sex with a transsexual?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another myth about bisexual people, is that you have to call yourself pansexual in order to show that you don't just date people within the gender binary.
Okay.
And that's not true. There are plenty of bisexual, straight, and gay people who have dated trans people or agender people.
Do you feel like there's just a lot of different labels? Like it's really confusing that you just can't just like what you like? Does there have to be a description for it?
There are many people, one example is the lead singer of Semi Precious Weapons, a group I like, that won't call themselves bisexual simply because of the negative connotations.
Yeah.
His name's Blaine. Did you just ask his name?
No, I just forgot part of the question. I said, what did he ask? That keeps happening. I'm sorry
No,
about
it's
that.
right. You haven't done radio since you were
It's
20
not even
years
that.
old.
It's
You
not
need to
even
get some
that. It's
ginkgo
just
college.
biloba going on.
the one thing. No, what happened
It's your
really
radio comeback.
is that I got too stoned, and this often happens.
That's all
so
right.
I'll just forget the sentence. But what was your question?
Just the whole labeling. Like I get nauseous with the labeling. It's just they're just people. It's just people.
Right.
But at the same time, I really feel like, and this is completely out there kind of an idea. I think people should have to wear like a wristband, like what you're into, like when you go to a bar. Because I'm so sick of going to a bar and like you just like, fuck, that guy, that chick looks gay. That chick, I don't know if she's with somebody or not. Like I just wish I had like a colored wristband, like single and ready to go. Okay, perfect. That it's just be so much easier.
Well, you're.
But that's labels. But I hate labels.
You're kind of a daddy, Blaine.
I'm
I
not.
don't mean to label you, buddy, but
That ain't my style. I don't roll that way.
you'd
I
look
like
good
it.
under a neon dick.
Listen, who wouldn't look good under a neon dick? Let's be honest.
That's so funny. All right, so do you ever check out like transsexual porn?
No, not. I don't really seek it out.
Have you
I don't
ever
watch porn very
accidentally
often.
clicked on it and then,
I didn't really care for it. That's another thing I've heard is like, would you like someone with female and male characteristics as a result of being bisexual? But it really just doesn't matter. It's less
Right.
about wanting both and more about not caring.
Right. Okay. That's fair. Let's talk about how you got into comedy. Because the first time, this is an amazing story. The first time you ever did comedy, And I hope you don't mind me admitting this.
No, it's fine.
You fucking did it on acid.
I took about 3 or 4 tabs of acid, about 1,200 UGs, because they were all individually strong acid tabs. And I went to my improv class, and I was walking with some friends.
Where was your
afterwards.
improv class?
I don't even want to promote it because I had a falling out with someone there.
That's okay. Where?
It was just in Hollywood. But anyway, I was
Fuck
walking.
them.
Get
Fuck
the
them
hint?
for the record.
Get the hint?
Yeah.
So, yeah, some of my friends were walking over to Mel's on Hollywood and Highland about an open mic, and I did spoken word poetry and poetry slams a lot back in the day, so I figured I would just do that. I didn't realize it was a comedy open mic, but when I found out, I thought, yeah, everyone's always told me I should do it. I certainly love watching stand-up comedy. I'll try it, and it went great.
Did you have jokes written out, or did you just go up there and freestyle?
I just winged it. I talked a lot about white privilege.
You just went up there and winged it on acid.
Absolutely, yeah, and talked about being on acid.
Oh, really? Did you tell them?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You told the crowd you're on acid?
Like you said, I'm just a really honest person.
Yeah, that's really good.
Do you think they believed you? Because if I sat down and a comedian goes, "How you guys doing tonight, dude? I'm so tripping on acid right now," I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, "Oh, this is going to be a good act."
Unless you did a whole set about Steve Jobs, I wouldn't believe it because,
yeah,
or I don't know.
just randomly be like, "How about that iPod? How amazing!"
The last time I did it, I thought about writing just a whole thing on polar bears. Like, they're going extinct. That sucks. But I was just thinking, like, no, we should be getting rid of them. They're like our only fucking enemy out there. And like, I wanted the whole thing to be like, guys, like, it's okay, we got them. Like, they're dead. It was really bad. Now that I thought about it, glad I didn't do it. But fuck the polar bears. That's all. That's all I like. The root of the thought. But have you tried to do comedy on acid since, or did you do it again?
Not that I remember, but I dropped acid a lot.
Oh, okay. So how many times do you think you had done it before you went and did comedy? More than 20 times? You were like experienced with it?
Possibly.
Okay. Do you think you'll ever do it again?
I don't really have plans to, because when I quit drinking, I didn't stop doing a lot of drugs, but just did them all a lot less often, and I stopped doing hard drugs too.
I do some gym locker room shit before my shows. I'm having men inject steroids into my ass before I do stand up.
Who doesn't want a strong ass?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And a strong stat.
Yeah.
And they're hitting me with these flesh needles in my butt, and it's like it gets me jacked before my sets. So you know what, to be honest, I did a set once on Molly. Mm-hmm. And when I came off stage, I thought I had done really bad, and the guy was like, "No, you did great." The guy running the show, and I was like, "Really?" And then I had a great night, but I was really sad for about 10 minutes.
Yeah,
because I think I had a bad ending, but it's hard. It's hard to judge. So now that you haven't been drinking and you're still doing comedy, mm-hmm. has it gotten better? And were you drinking before you were doing comedy?
I only spent about a year drinking because I just didn't have a desire to drink before then for the most part. And yeah, one of the reasons why I stopped drinking is because I'd do what I'm doing now and forget what thread of thought I was on and just totally say the punchline too early or something like that. So I don't know if it's gotten better, but it's definitely gotten neater.
Okay, so I consider you probably one of the most honest people ever on Facebook. What do you consider one of the craziest things you've ever admitted on Facebook?
Right. Well, first of all, I love Facebook as just a manner of getting exactly the image of yourself out there that you want. And for me, the image of myself that I want is the correct one. Okay. So definitely, really recently, I made a status about how I have herpes, type 2 genital herpes. Okay. And
was there backlash?
No, not at all. Not yet. It was just everyone was very supportive, but I did it partially to educate people and just try to be a good, edifying person, but partly for really selfish reasons, because I had never, ever been turned down on the basis of herpes ever. Most people weren't even bothered by it at all. And additionally, it's very hard for me to transmit it. I've never done it, and just there are various medical reasons why it would be very unlikely for me to transmit it, but I don't mention that when I'm about to have sex with someone because I don't want to manipulate them or even have them think they're being manipulated.
Okay.
So,
wait, are you sure? You sure you can't transmit it to these people?
Oh, it's possible. It's just not very likely. So yeah, I had 3 people in a row. For the first time, someone had a problem with it, and then there were 2 more, and I said, well, part of the reason why I'm doing this, I just want people who have herpes or don't care about herpes to know that they can fuck me.
Oh, wow.
And also so that I wouldn't have to have any awkward conversations.
So were you like in the heat of the moment with these guys, and then you're like, I have herpes, and then like, okay, no, and they walked away? Or was it like in conversation before anything happened?
Yeah, I said it ahead of time.
You said it, that's okay. And you tell them. And most of the time in Hawaii and in where you're originally from, New Hampshire, it was never a problem. But when you got out to LA, guys were turning you down.
Yeah, not for a while, but just recently in the past couple of weeks before I wrote the status.
And what do you think's going to happen in the future? You think guys are going to be more comfortable with it? Or I would be comfortable with it if I was rolling with a full body condom in my back pocket. But I can't find those since like 2007.
I think that I could fuck you a little more easily than that, even if you didn't have a full body condom.
Right, and I think those guys, that was a rare hat trick of no's. I think most guys will probably continue to say yes in the future.
Yeah, I've had 1 yes already, so I'll probably get around to have sex with him.
There you
soon.
go. Was it? I mean, I don't know if this is a inappropriate question or not. Was it all guys?
Was what all guys?
Who said no? The 3 people who said no?
The 3 people who said no, absolutely.
Have you had any girls say no?
No, never. And
do you know where you contracted it?
Oh, well, it was from kind of a traumatic experience, so I don't want to talk about it today.
Oh, really? Fuck. Okay, sorry. Well, I mean, at least...
Way to go, Tommy. Way to go.
Yeah. But you said that the guys you have had sex with after haven't got it.
No one's ever gotten it. And
you're in touch with all them, or you're still friends with them on Facebook?
Oh, I'm definitely not in touch with all of them, because there have been too many, and some of them were just for...
Those 3 guys from the military base...
I don't even know their names.
Got blown up by Somali pirates probably 2 years ago.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Or they're in ISIS now.
But at least they... You guys Eiffel Towered, and you guys
Eiffel
hell
Towered.
Of a time in the army barracks, right?
Absolutely. They had the idea they wanted to do an Eiffel Tower, which
did they touch each other at all, or...
No, not at all.
Did they like get around you, and did any of them come simultaneously?
I don't think so.
Because that's kind of gay, I think, if they both came at the same time.
Ryan Tomo has a joke about doing that with his dad.
Oh, with his dad?
Yeah, threesome with his dad.
Well, that's a family.
Jesus.
That's a family to marry into.
Yeah.
Have you ever been questioned about like your promiscuity, or that like you're so far beyond like normal convention, like people label you negatively? Not to your face.
Yeah. I'm fine with it, and absolutely you do have a higher risk of herpes if you have a lot of partners. I was shocked when my gynecologist back home asked a question on her form, which was, have you slept with more than 6 people? And I was shocked to learn that was considered a high amount, because honestly, just watching television, I'm obsessed with television, I want to be a TV writer. It seems that they're fucking a different person every week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I don't have any regret at all, and if people have a problem with it, I really don't care.
Let me ask you a question. This is just on an educational basis. If someone fucks someone with genital herpes in the ass, can it still be transmitted, or is it just a vaginal?
I have no idea.
I think that's a good question.
I think that it's possible.
I think I'm going to be calling Loveline on my drive home tonight.
Well, it's all skin-to-skin contact, so let's say that the guy's testicles go up against the girl's labia while he's fucking her in the ass. That's a possibility.
The labia is a clit?
No, the labia is...
Tommy, shut up.
Well, do you know what the word vulva means? I am going to talk to you about women's vaginas.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. All right, so... The vagina is actually inside, so you don't see someone's vagina.
Okay.
Unless you're a gynecologist or just a really studious boyfriend.
Okay.
And there are 2 holes, really. It's the vagina and then the urethra, which is used for urination. And those are located in the labia minora, the inside lips of a vagina. And then the other ones, the ones that are often skin-colored, is the labia majora.
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Can the herpes break out anywhere in those parts?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But it's very rare for anyone to have an outbreak, especially more than one.
And I was lost at vulva.
A vulva is another word for the 2 labia together. And then, of course, the clitoris is up towards the top front. It's hooded.
Well, I mean, most of the time I'm into vagina and stuff, but like I said, when I just see a hot, wet asshole on RedTube or YouPorn, I'm all in. I'm not asking questions. I'm all about it.
And there are different degrees of bisexuality as measured by Alfred Kinsey, the famous sexologist. And I've taken that old quiz from the 60s online, and I got the exact answer that I suspected, which is that I'm in the exact median. So I don't have any preference towards one gender or another.
That's good. And so you don't like being really categorized or, that's good.
Bisexual is a good term for me.
That's good stuff. Well, it's going to be amazing to see what this country kind of forms into in like 30 years. I know that's a long time, but I mean, even it'll be different in 15, but in 30 years, it'll be interesting talking about all this, especially bisexuals. I mean, they're behind the transsexuals.
100%. And a lot of people who are transgender are bisexual.
What's the suicide rate?
The suicide rate, it's inconclusive because they're often lumped together, but many studies show that bisexual people have the highest suicide rate in the LGBT plus community. They also face employment and housing discrimination. There are some forms of oppression that are even worse for bisexual people, especially those who are also trans, than there are for other groups. But I can't throw lesbians and gay men under the bus. They're great allies. Nothing wrong with them.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody that's in the LGBT community in general are going to side with each other because even the slightest, even what you would consider the easiest for society to accept in the LGBT community are still discriminated against. So they have something in common. It's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they don't pick on each other. For the most part. I'm sure there are some.
Well, I agree with you, Rachel. And
I mean, can you imagine a self-righteous gay guy who doesn't like a trans guy?
Yeah,
Seriously?
they definitely exist.
Oh, I know they exist, but I mean, you just look at them and just be like, dude, shut the F
I know,
up.
right? It's ironic.
And what am I? I'm like this, I'm this straight guy who gets confused sometimes on YouPorn.
And blows a dude?
When I see a hot ass, and then, I would follow the Yelp reviews of the Stud Theater in West Hollywood. So, pretty much, you can't label me either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if you wanted to, maybe you would take the Kinsey scale test and you'd be a 1, which is just north of exact heterosexual.
What is that test called again?
The Kinsey scale.
Okay. And is there a Facebook page or like where, say there's some bisexual people out there or there's some young people out there? We have a big high school following. No, I don't. But if say a young person's out there and where do bisexual people go? Like is there a website or is there a Facebook page like you said?
I'm not the best person to ask about that. I often just see what other people are posting in the community, just who are friends of mine.
Okay.
I wish I could help more.
No, it's okay. I mean, the thing is there's not like a go-to thing, which sucks. Like you learned about this special day today through social media, which is interesting.
Yeah, and that might be my own fault. Just I don't usually research bisexuality. It just kind of comes to me.
Well, I'm going to research Brazilian group sex tonight because we've been talking about that a lot. But what's your Twitter?
It's at Not Rachel Knight, and my new website, rachelcomedy.com, should be up in a couple days.
All right, well, get on that website, and thank you for coming on the show. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Happy Bisexual Day.
You too.
But like how? You don't understand. You just don't understand. Check it out, though.